Hello and welcome back. Amy here from Knit Collage. I am super excited to dive into your questions and do another iteration of the Ask Me Anything video series. I'm going to talk for just a minute about our make along that's coming up here in a few weeks and then dive into all of your questions. So first up, the fall make along is going to go down the first week of October, I think is when we kick things off. And the way we do our make-alongs, if you're not familiar, is we have a big design survey. So I have 14 designs in this survey, and I ask the community, that means all of you, to vote for what you would most like to make. And from there, we pick the styles that are the winners. It's usually 3 or 4 styles, and we knit those as part of our make-along. And we do this twice a year, so fall and spring. So this fall, we will choose 3 or 4 design winners. There'll probably be a couple bonus winners as well. And the styles that are the main styles, the main winners, come with a video course that I teach where I show you how to make each style from start to finish. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And there's a ton more that goes into it than just that, but that's sort of it in a nutshell. So I want to encourage you to vote for what you would most like to make. This is one of the options. This is the Willow Cardi. I absolutely love it. It feels really good on, and I hope it wins because I'm already dreaming up all of these different color combination ideas. So this one gets my vote. A few others get my vote as well. So let me know. Please cast your vote at the link below. Now, let's dive into all of your questions. I got a bunch, which is blowing me away. So thank you for all your questions. Just as a reminder, if you have a customer service question, a pattern, yarn question, feel free to email hello@knitcollage.com and Amy Mack will help you out there. So first up, here we go. How does the waterfall yarn look when knitted with spun cloud? I'm thinking of trying it in the pixelated Cardi pattern. Would this yarn combo be a good choice for the pattern? I think it would be an amazing choice. Waterfall would work well in place of the wildflower yarn, which is what the pattern originally calls for. So definitely try that out. I think this pattern looks really pretty with high contrast, but of course it's totally up to you. If you like a more subtle look, you could go low contrast. So it's totally up to you. As always, swatch to see what you like best, but 100% that yarn would work really well with spun cloud, and you should 100% try it. I love that idea, and I'd love to see how it turns out. Okay, next up, all the designs for the fall make-along are so amazing, and I am sure I'll be knitting more than one. Yay! I'm especially digging the sweater dress. This one will get my vote. Can you tell me what yarns are used in this design? This is a design we're calling the Selena sweater. It's a sweater dress. I'll put a photo in right here. It's one of the options for the make-along. Now, unlike the other patterns in the make-along, this pattern uses a combination of our yarns and yarns from other people, and you could choose to go with the yarns that we made our samples in and get yarns from those vendors, or you could totally do your own thing. So it's really up to you. So let me just look this up for you, the exact yarns. I know that the mohair is a chunky mohair by Cowgirl Blues. So I think that would be a really fun option to go with. It would look like ours if you decide to go with that yarn. I believe it's 2 strands of that chunky mohair from Cowgirl Blues and then a fingering weight yarn or a sock weight yarn. So that's that. Now let me tell you which yarns of ours it uses. 1 skein of Castaway, 1 skein of Dreamland, 1 skein of Daisy Chain, and 2 skeins of Spun Cloud. And that's for sizes 1 through 3. The quantities of yarn differ depending on your size. So Castaway, Daisy Chain, Dreamland, and Spun Cloud. So it uses quite a bit of yarn. It is a dress, so that's something to consider. I love this one too, and I love that you love it. So that's that. I hope that answered your question. Next up, do you think Knit Collage will eventually put out a pattern book with maybe a mix of past favorites and new ones not released yet. I love that idea. I have thought about a book and writing a book that would be more of like a giant coffee table book that would be about the work that we do in India, my workarounds or my love of mindfulness and making things, and then also the patterns. So I was sort of thinking of a book like this that would really combine everything that I do into a book. So some patterns, some of the work we do in India, highlighting the team, the process, all that good stuff. And then also the way that making things helps us, right? And why it's so important to lean into it. If it clicks for you, if it's something that you love to do, because it helps us in so many ways. I'm going to dive into that more as we inch closer to the make along. But yeah, I would love to. And really, I just have so much on my plate running the business that I haven't had a ton of time to devote to thinking about a book. So it's something on my mind. One of my friends in my mastermind just wrote a book, and it's been really fun to see her go through that process. Very, very inspiring. So it's on my radar. I just don't know how I would find the time to work on it or how to go about getting something like that out in the world. But certainly I would love to do that. Next question. Have you ever thought of producing a mohair yarn? No specific weight. I haven't. I'm open to it, but I haven't ever thought about doing anything like that, but maybe someday. Next up, supporting women, especially the yarn spinners in India, is an exceptional achievement to share and inspire others to do the same. Have supporting and empowering women always been important to you? This is a very good question. I wish I could say that it was. I think what I have always been driven by is this longing to follow what's in my heart, my whatever, that creative spark that calls me to design yarns, to create something new that's not out there in the world at all. I think that's what really drives me and led to India team, the team here, and showing up for our community and our people in a way that really supports them and helps them finish their projects, delivers them, hopefully with a yarn that really inspires them. That's what's really important to me. And of course, I didn't want to do that in a way that was harmful to the world. A way that empowers women, supports women is the only way that we were going to do it. But I think it was more like that was the process of building it when my real goal is always just to follow my heart creatively, if that makes any sense. And that's what drives me even now. I think I'm happiest when I'm creating things. And so that's sort of been the catalyst to everything that's come from it. The team in India, the team in the States, if that makes any sense. I do think that I'm also driven by a want or a need to set an example for my kids that you can make a positive change in the world, that you can start anything from nothing and build it and grow it and achieve your goals. So I think there is a piece there with my kids that I'm inspired by too, to really show them what's possible in the world, that they can do anything they want if they set their mind to it and work hard. I hope that answers your question. That was a hard question. Your positive attitude and inspirational qualities really shine through your creations. Have you always been like this throughout your life? Or is this attributed to your practice of yoga? And what is your preferred lifestyle choices? Oh gosh, this is coming from Australia. That is so kind of you. I think like everyone, I struggle with mental health and anxiety too. I tend to put way too much on my plate, and that's something that I'm trying to work really hard on to get better about. Just simplifying and keeping things easy. Unlike past make-alongs, I think we may have one less design in the mix than we have in the past. But have I always been positive? I'm not sure about that. I guess I have. I think also I do think a lot about the things that make me feel better and bringing those into my day. So you mentioned yoga. I think yoga is important, but also I'm a big fan of really moving my body in any way. I'm going to take a walk after I do this video and clear my mind. If I've been sitting for 5 hours, I usually do that. In the mornings, I typically meditate and journal or read. So I try my best to really add those into the day, and they help me for sure feel better and be in a good headspace. But I will say it's hard because I do have 3 little kids. Like this morning, for example, my son came up early and he wanted to start a puzzle. And he's my son that I don't get as much time with because he's sort of the easy one of all the 3. He's the easiest right now, and he's the quietest. And so when it asked me to do a puzzle at 6 a.m. and I'm in the middle of journaling or meditating, I say yes, and I spend that time with him. So it's hard. I wish I could say, yeah, these are the things I do, and it happens like this, clockwork every morning. I would really like that to be true, but it's not right now at this moment in my life. And I think there has to be some of just accepting that and where I am, and sick kids and that juggle. So I try my best to be positive and move my body. That helps. I don't know if I've always been that way. I'm not sure. Sorry, that's not the best answer. If you have a more detailed question for me, let me know next time. All right. Will the kaleidoscope Cardi pattern be sold as a separate pattern or only in kids? Yes, Beverly, we do plan to sell that as a pattern. I'm not sure when yet. I know I get asked this question a ton. Right now, we're really focused on the next make along, but maybe we'll do it for Black Friday or Cyber Monday. For sure, it's going to be released in the next year, less than the next year. I just haven't had a chance to work on it yet. So I'm sorry, I'm juggling a lot. Next question. Hi, Amy. I am wondering when the Starfall Cardi will be released. That we have slated for release Black Friday, Cyber Monday for sure. So I don't think that will change. That will be mid to end November. All right, next question. How can you become a test knitter or crocheter for Knit Collage? I think I answered this last video too. I do post calls for testers in our newsletter and on Instagram. So those are the 2 places to check. We're always looking, especially for sizes 5 up, which is like, I think that's a size 49 bust and up we're always looking for. So if that fits you, please feel free to drop me an email at amy@knitcollage.com. The other sizes, we have more folks in the pool. So I send it'll be in the newsletter or on Instagram. So look there and you will be the first to know. Next question. I love the new Tweety yarns, but I don't want to do just a scarf with them. Will they be part of the fall knit along? Great question, Valentina. So there's one design that uses that new Happy Dance yarn that I think you're speaking about, is called the Happy Dance cardigan. Please cast your vote for that one if that's the one you want to make. It's a very simple pattern, but a really beautiful sweater that I think would be a wear everywhere sweater for me. I designed it, so I'm partial, but I think that would be a really fun one for you to choose. So please vote for that one. Next one. Hi, Amy. You are so amazing at work and home. Thank you. I am constantly in awe of all you get done in a day and your week. I would love to know what an average day looks like for you, how much you sleep, if any. Do you get? I know you do yoga and run, but what do you eat and drink that gives you so much energy? Oh my gosh, this is similar to the other question, a really good question. I love getting questions like this. I would say that, I just want to put an asterisk here. I think that I have put too much on my plate for a very, very long time. So I want to just say, hi, I'm the problem. It's me. So if it seems like I don't sleep, that may be why. I have always been a doer, and there's not much time in the day that I'm not thinking about work. And I think that's to the detriment of my family. I am actually really working on doing a little bit less but better, if that makes any sense. So don't look at me and say you want this, because I don't know for sure that it is a healthy balance. So I just want to own up to that. That said, this is what a typical day looks like for me. I usually wake up around 5:30 or 6. I do a 20-minute meditation, and then I like to read or journal until I get the kids around 6:37. Now, I just said today, my son wanted to do a puzzle with me at 6 a.m. I did a puzzle with him at 6 a.m. My middle son came up at 6:30 with a really sore throat, and he's sick. So, I had to be with him. And I wish I could say that didn't happen most mornings, but it does. And so unlike previous seasons of my life when I didn't have kids, when I had kids who were really good sleepers and slept until 7, I really did take those morning hours and had a very religious meditation practice. Right now, it looks like 20 minutes of meditation. I have a little thing here. It's like a little note to myself, which this is what I do every day. And it's kind of like a little cheat sheet for myself. And I don't get to it every day, but I do try to meditate every day. I have a schedule with my husband on when I work out. So one of us typically goes before school and one of us doesn't. Now, his work right now is amping up to be in the office 5 days with a 50-minute commute, long hours. So this is a shift for us. So I'm bracing myself for that, and it's going to mean stepping into the family a bit more in the coming months. It's a good thing. It's good for him. It's just going to be a lot. So at 7:45, one of us takes the kids to school. I either get a workout in from 7 to 7:45 or 8. And then if not, I go usually at 8 a.m. and I will do yoga. I do weights. I've started to do more weightlifting classes, which is fun. I like feeling strong. It's been one of my goals in 2023 to get stronger. And I run, and I never really miss a day working out ever. I know that sounds crazy, but some days it's only a 4-mile run, which for me isn't very much. I realize that's a lot for some people. And in my next life, I'm probably a fitness instructor. It really brings me a lot of joy. It's my happy place. So I do that in the mornings typically, and then I get to work around 9:30, and I work until 4 or 5, depending on the day. Have childcare help from 8 to 4 or 5 every day, an awesome nanny who helps us out. So that's how I get my work in, and I work those hours. Then at night, I'm with the kids, helping them with sports. They're each doing 2 sports, an instrument. Right now, my oldest has about an hour of homework a night, and my middle less homework, but it's a lot. So I'm with the kids, driving them all around, doing all those things. And then my husband's getting home around 6:30 or 7. So it's a lot. We read with the kids, the older boys, until 8:30, and we read books out loud to them. So right now we're reading Narnia. We read, I can't remember what we read last, but we read this really cool series over the summer. So we read a lot with them at night, like 45 minutes, and I tend to knit. My husband tends to read. So for me, that's my wind down time. And I usually go to bed around 9 or 9:30. It's early and it's hard because I don't have much time to myself each day anymore. And that's what's hard about going to bed early, and also the waking up early when I get the kids distract me. So I think because I'm an introvert at heart, which people are always surprised by, but I really am an introvert at heart, and I really need time alone to restore and build up my, just being able to be out in the world. I need to be alone a lot to do that. And I think that's why I like working by myself and working with folks remotely, or the team remotely. It's also why I like traveling. I like travel days where you're by yourself, staring out a window, knitting, just, no phone calls, whatever. I try to plan days in my week where I'm not on Zoom or on the phone, and that helps really restore me so that when I am with my kids and my family, I feel like I'm ready to go. Right now, I am trying to prioritize the kids and the family, like I mentioned, a little bit more, do a little bit less. I have a baby class that I'm doing with my 2-year-old, toddler class, I should say, on Thursdays, and it is like, oh my God, amazing. I feel like I've neglected him as my third and really let work be a priority. And I went to the first one of these last Thursday, and I was so emotional and teary because I have not spent a lot of time with him one-on-one, and it was just such a joy. There was a parachute, Play-Doh, and it was really good. So that's that. So I do yoga. I weightlift once or twice a week. I run, I walk a fair amount as well. I started doing athletic greens after Christina from Chelsea Yarns told me about it. I feel like it does give me a lot of energy. I don't have the best eating habits, so I don't know if I should share those, but I do a daily harvest shake every morning. I tend to not eat much during the day except for tortilla chips. So bad. Don't do as I do. And then eat a real dinner. So I am not great about actually slowing down to take time to think about food and prepare a nice meal for myself. For whatever reason, cooking is just not one of my favorite creative things. It's not something I care about a ton. And I love a nice meal. I like eating all those things, but it's not something that I love spending time on. So that's that. I have no advice on that. In fact, I would say do the opposite of what I do. Okay, I have just a few more questions. When is the Briar Rose coming out to the Make-Along people? I know we promised this to spring Make-Along people, and I'm so sorry it is not ready yet. It had some problems in grading, so unfortunately the pattern was not graded correctly, and we've had to rework it from, going back to the beginning. So I'm so sorry. This happens sometimes. Unfortunately, it's happened with this pattern. Our highest priority is making sure that the pattern fits well across all 9 sizes. So that's where we're at. You will get it as soon as it is ready. But right now we are in the midst of rewriting the pattern and getting pattern updates out to the testers we already have. So I'm so sorry about this. I don't think this has happened ever before. So I'm sorry. I appreciate your patience there. Okay. Have you ever thought of doing a mohair yarn? Gosh, the second time. Maybe that means I need to do a mohair yarn. A chunky knit collage version would be so fun. I agree. Maybe embellished. What do we think about that? All right, next question. Sun woven pattern. What do the numbers mean in sizing? Our numbers in sizing correspond to a finished bust size. So most of our patterns are sized 1 through 9. And you'll see sizes in the pattern, sizes 1 through 9 or whatever it might be, and then finished measurements, and you'll see 9 sizes listed. And that first number for the finished bust measurement will correlate to the size 1. The second one in will correlate to a size 2. The third one in will correlate to a size 3, and so on. So if a size 5 has a finished bust measurement of 48 inches, that is size for 48-inch bust. Does that make sense? And you'll see a fit note down below in the pattern that says, this pattern is recommended to be worn with a certain amount of ease or looseness at the bust. So if the finished measurement is 48 inches for a size 5, and you are let's say you are a 46-inch bust, and the fit note says to be worn with 2 inches of positive ease, you would take your bust measurement, add 2 inches to that. So 46 plus 2 is 48 inches. And then look for the finished bust measurement that corresponds, that's written in the pattern that corresponds with that number. So 46 inches, your bust measurement plus 2 is 48. So in the pattern, the size 5 is a 48-inch bust. That's the size you want to make. Now, if you have more questions about this, I really want to encourage you to email Amy Mack. Her email is hello@knitcollage.com, because she can help you specifically with the size you need to get for that pattern. Or you need to make for that pattern. So let us know. We would be super happy to help you with that. And I hope that quick definition made sense. Okay, here we go. Last question. You've done design calls in the past to find work from new designers, and I've always hesitated in participating because my sweaters are not graded for various sizes and unfortunately aren't size inclusive. Does your team grade patterns for the design calls? Thank you. I love your yarn and knit-alongs and can't wait for the fall one to start. Thanks, Michelle. So you have 2 options there. When you submit your design, you can just let us know that you do not know how to grade your pattern, or you do not grade your pattern, and we will grade it. But that amount of money that we pay to the grader will be taken out of the fee that we've agreed on to pay you for the pattern. And this is really an industry standard, because that's going to cost our team a fair amount to grade that pattern. Now it's going to depend on the pattern. If it's a really simple pattern, it probably won't be too expensive to grade it. However, if it's a more complicated pattern like this one or the botanical cardi or the Harley, a design that's more complicated, then it may be more expensive. So that's how that works. And this is how Pom Pom works. This is how many publications work with designers. If you want to learn how to grade a pattern, I'd recommend Julie Robinson and checking out her course on how to grade. That might help you. Okay, those are all the questions. It was quite a lot. Please take the Fall Make Along Design Survey. I hope I didn't ramble too much. You let me know in the comments if I did. And as always, feel free to ask me any questions. I'll link to that form below, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Bye.